studies how to create your automatic marketing machine. My name is Danny Decker. I'm here with Daniel Bowden. And Daniel, today we're going to talk about a question that I get all the time, which is, what exactly is a marketing funnel? Like, people hear the term funnel all the time, marketing funnel. I think there's a lot of unclearness out there. Like, a lot of people they know they should have a funnel. They've heard about it. They don't know exactly what it is. So let's just try to help our audience make sense and understand, what is a marketing funnel? How should they use it? So Can we just start there? Like, give your perspective on just what a marketing funnel even is.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem is there's not like a definite answer, right? It's all a little subjective. Everyone kind of has a little bit of a different idea. And that's probably because there's so much variety in what your marketing funnel can look like. So at the end of the day, it's a system, it's a process that someone is going to be a part of at some point along the way that is going to take a complete stranger and then turn them into a lead that hopefully you will convert into a client.
Right. I like how you lay that out. It's like, it's the process of taking someone who's never heard of your business and turning them into a client.
Yeah.
And everything that has to happen in that journey can be thought of as kind of the funnel.
Yeah.
Let's just start here. You know, there's a decent percentage of the time when you really don't need a true funnel, because when somebody, let's say, is injured in a car accident and they need a lawyer right away, and all they do is go onto Google and look for a personal injury lawyer, and then they call them and they have their consultation. There's not a whole lot of, marketing funnel that needs to happen there. If someone was arrested and they're just like, help, I need to get out of jail right now, But for a lot of businesses, law firms and others, there's a lot more time that happens between when they first start thinking about your product or service versus when they're finally ready to actually schedule a consultation. And that's where, like, a true funnel comes into play, when you really have to do some education and kind of capture their contact information and all of that. That's when a funnel really comes into play. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Cool. So maybe let's lay out kind of what a typical funnel could look like, to just give people some context. So do you want to just maybe describe like like a marketing funnel that you've seen?
Yeah. So let me think of one. A marketing funnel. So you can enter into the funnel in many different ways, but a very common way to do that is ads on social media, right? So you're just scrolling through, and then people might not realize it, but like it says like sponsored by, or like it'll tell you that this post is an ad. And so that's kind of like touch point number one. From there, whenever you click on the ad, it'll redirect you somewhere else. Maybe it's a landing page, maybe it's just their site. But from there, then they're going to give you an offer. And then that offer is you're hopefully going to opt into it. And these are all like intentional steps along the way to get you further and further down the funnel. And then even a part of this is once you click on that ad, that company has your information where they can retarget you. And then later that day, later the next week, whatever, you'll probably get hit with that ad from that same company again.
Right. Like, a great example of that is, if you go to Amazon and you add a book to your shopping cart and then you don't actually buy it, like, I will often then be on Facebook 2 hours later and I'll see an ad that's like, come back and finish buying your book.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, that's a great example of retargeting to try to like get me all the way down the funnel.
Yep. The other day I was on Instagram and I was scrolling through it and I saw a shirt that I liked, and I knew I wasn't going to buy it right then, but I clicked on the ad on purpose anyway, because I know how this works. I clicked on the ad so that later it would like retarget me so that I wouldn't forget.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, when we start thinking about how to put this stuff into practice, we often, because we do a lot of this for our clients at the Automatic Marketing Agency, we'll often build a funnel around a lead magnet. And, we don't have to have a whole conversation about lead magnets, because we covered them just a few episodes back, a few weeks ago. But basically the idea is some sort of free giveaway to capture their contact information. So we'll often do a funnel built around a checklist. I think I gave the example a few weeks ago of, a checklist for business owners that are thinking about divorce.
Yeah.
And so that ends up being a lead magnet, and then you have a landing page where people get the lead magnet. But then, let's talk about, okay, so how do you get people into the funnel, right? How do you get people to start that process? How do you get people to your landing page? And there's a ton of different ways to go about that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you get people to your landing page? You can run ads. You can, wherever you are actively trying to communicate the message of what your business does is a place where you can get people to go to your landing page. So whether that's on YouTube and you're making YouTube videos, you can try to redirect people there. If you do a podcast, you can plug the link to your landing page in the show notes of the description of your podcast. You can create a QR code whenever you're somewhere in person that will direct people to your landing page to get them to take the specific action. So it's really wherever you are. If that landing page and that offer makes sense, you can direct people there to get them further down the funnel.
Yeah, exactly. So an example would be, let's take the checklist for business owners that are thinking about divorce. Okay, it's you've already identified those are the types of clients you want, and that's the type of service you're trying to sell. You've built your lead magnet, you've built your landing page. Well, what if you went and filmed a YouTube video? And on that YouTube video, you talk a bit, it's just off the top of my head, 2 mistakes that business owners can't afford to make when they're preparing for divorce.
Right.
And you just have that conversation, you're giving people value, and then you kind of tease it and you say, hey, there's a lot more than I can cover in a YouTube video. Mm-hmm. That's why we put together this checklist. And you can download that checklist here, and you give them the link to your landing page. Mm-hmm. And then, so you're reaching all these people with your YouTube video. And then some of them are like, yeah, wow, I do need more information about that. So they go to the landing page, they download the lead magnet. Now you've got their information. Now you can keep doing, you can follow up with them. You can send them email drip campaigns and all of that. Mm-hmm. And so it's you used a YouTube video to pull people into your funnel.
Right.
And that's just one example, right? You could do the same thing on a podcast. You could do the same thing in your blog, right? Mm-hmm. If I was doing a campaign like this, I would probably also write a blog entry. And what if you make the blog entry cover a few of the tips, a few of the things that business owners have to know before they file for divorce. And then at the bottom of the blog entry, you're like, hey, there's a lot more information. Yep. Click here to go download it, right?
Yep. And going back to the marketing funnel, and then once they do download the resource, that isn't necessarily, that isn't the end of it, right? You can still continue to take them in different directions. And part of that is, let's say they're on the landing page, they download the resource. One thing you can do is set up the confirmation dialog box, is what it's called, to schedule a consultation right then and there. So they download the resource, okay, maybe they have a little bit of higher intent, and then they're ready because they liked what they saw on the landing page. Or maybe they don't do that, and then you want to include the resource again in the email that you automate out, and you can also include another link to schedule a consultation. 1 day out, 4 days out, 2
and that's
weeks
a
out.
Really good point. It's you kind of have to diagram out how you want the funnel to work. And so it's okay, maybe step 1 is they see your ad on Facebook. Step 2 is they download your thing from your landing page. Step 3 is we want them to schedule a consultation. So, right after they download that white paper, show them the confirmation box and give them the option to schedule a consult. And if they do, great. Now they've kind of completed the marketing funnel.
Right.
If they don't, to your point, then you keep following up with emails until they do. So it's it's about sort of driving them step by step by step, down the funnel.
Yeah. And there's also different ways to do that too. It's not just email, it can be text messages too.
Right.
There's different ways of following up. There's phone calls, right? There's different ways that you can come at them with your offer.
100%. All right, so we're winding down here. So I think my hope for people listening to this is you get your head around what a marketing funnel is and how to use it. And just to summarize high level, it's everything that has to happen to take somebody from having not really heard about your business all the way to the point where they hire you. Yeah. And for the more urgent situations, like, hey, I was arrested, I need a lawyer, you don't need as much of a funnel. But for a lot of these examples we talked about, it's really helpful to give people some free information, create some YouTube videos, some blogs, build a landing page, and kind of drive people down that funnel. So hope that clears up, any confusion you guys had around the subject of marketing funnels. Thank you for joining us. My name is Danny Decker, joined by Daniel Bowden today, and we will see you next week on the Automatic Marketing Show.